Over the last 48 hours or so, I've had a number of you ask me when we go back to 2 weekly rotation. Now, this isn't a hard and fixed rule, but generally the first week of September we start moving everybody back into a fortnightly rotation. So if you look at your calendar, 3 weeks from now is the 5th of September. So you all should be starting to think about this. When I say it's not a hard and fast rule, usually once the daily high gets over about 16 degrees, we start putting, well, the grass starts growing to a point where you need to mow the lawn every 2 weeks, and we start switching people back to that fortnightly rotation. So this is the forecast for the next 10 days for Auckland, and as you can see, while tomorrow and Wednesday are meant to get up to 16 degrees, the next 7 days you're looking at highs of 14 and 15. So until we start seeing that 16 and even getting up to 17 and 18, the lawn isn't really going to take off. The overnight lows at the moment, although the sixes for the next 3 or 4 days here in Auckland, next week they go to, lows of 9s and 10s. So that means the median temperature is about 12, but really it needs to get up to around 13, 14. So we're heading in the right direction. We've actually got some sunshine in the next week, which is you'll all be very happy with. You look at Tauranga, much the same kind of patterns there. Overnight lows of 4, 5s and 6s for the next 3 or 4 days, and highs of 15s and 16s. And again next week, highs in 15s and 16s, but lows of 8s and 7s. So until we start getting over that 16 on a regular basis, the grass growth isn't really going to take off, but it is starting to head in the right direction. So what you should be doing is sitting down with your run lists, looking at this week, next week and the week after, and then saying, okay, somewhere around the 5th, I mean, if you're in Hamilton, you might want to wait until the 12th or even the 19th, but somewhere around the 5th, you're going to want to start shuffling everybody into 2 weeks. So that means looking at your run lists, looking at week by week who you're going to and who's nearby and what would work better for you as to how people are placed. Remember, this is your business, and the more time you spend doing this and sitting down at this time of the year, the more efficient your business will run and the more profitable it will be over the next 6 to 9 months. So it is a really good time to sit down and analyze where you're running around, what suburbs you're in on what day, and what neighbours you're going to at the moment a week apart that you could be putting together on the same day. Whether you put them all back on the 5th or whether you bring some of them in on the 5th and combine 2 weeks is up to you. It's really going to come down to how many hours into the week you've got and what capacity you've got. But this is a really good time of the year to sit down, analyse your business and go, okay, how is it best for me to run this that suits myself? If you've got any questions, either come back to myself or Peter about this, but I think it's fairly clear as to what our expectations are. If you don't want to go back to 3 weekly until the end of September, well, that's up to you. That's your call. I know some of you are still away on holiday, and then when you get back in September, it will be all hands to the mower, so to speak. So it is something to start considering and to start planning for. Make sure all your machines are serviced and ready to go, because if we get some weather like we've got today, which is a beautiful fine day, consecutively, and we've got a week forecast ahead of us, that grass will start growing. There's plenty of moisture in the ground for it to take off, and everything will be going again. Now, if you want any extra work, please talk to us. There is plenty around still, but please communicate with us as to where and when you can take it. That is best to be done via email or via text. I noticed this morning Pete was flat out taking calls from franchisees when the customers were trying to get through, and they weren't getting through because they were talking to you. So if you've got some communication, please email it or text it. It's way better and more efficient, and it means that customers don't call someone else because we can grab their details and get them to you which is way more important than some of the other stuff that you were ringing about. Any other questions, come back to us. Have a great week.